Hi, hey, welcome back. Happy Wednesday if you're watching this on Wednesday. We're going to talk about circles some more today. And so this is 10.1 day 2. We're going to talk about some different things in circles and some different types of lines. So first of all, we're going to talk about a chord. I know it's spelled CH, but it's still pronounced a chord. And so a chord is a segment whose points or whose endpoints are on the circle, right? So it goes through the circle, but then it stops at the edge of the circle. So if we want to draw a chord here in circle, if you remember from the last video how we named circles, we named them from the center point. So this would be circle A. So if we wanted to draw a chord here, we'd have an endpoint here. So let's call that B. Let's call this endpoint C. So notice there's a stopping point, right? They stop there, but it crosses through the circle. So a chord is a segment. Notice it has stopping points at both ends, a segment whose endpoints are on the circle, right? So we could draw a lot of different chords in different directions, right? It could go through the center. It doesn't have to, though. So that's the difference between a chord and a diameter. Okay, so our next one is a secant, right? And so the difference between a secant and a chord is this important part. So a chord is a segment and a secant is a line, right? So a segment has endpoints. A line does not have endpoints. So it's important here that our line intersects at 2 points, right? So it intersects our circle at 2 points and it's some kind of line. So it's going to look like a chord, except it's going to continue on in both directions. So if we go through here, right, it crosses through at this point, it crosses through at that point, but it goes on forever. Sometimes you'll have those arrows, sometimes you're not. So again, right, our line continues on forever, but it crosses at 2 points. So let's say we call that B and that C, right? So they're very similar, a chord and a secant, although one continues on forever, the other one does not. All right, so let's look at our next one, our tangent. So a tangent line, right, it gets used a lot in upper math classes. So if you continue on with your math career, you'll use it a lot. A tangent is that it only is a line that only intersects the circle at exactly 1 point, right? So our secant over here intersected at both of these points, but our tangent is only going to intersect this circle at 1 point. So let's say it intersected circle A right here. Then our line would have to go, let's see if I can draw this. It only touches at that point. I know it seems like it touches a little more just because of me drawing it in there, but it only touches at that 1 point, right? So it doesn't have multiple intersections. Again, it's a line, right? So we might see arrows at the end, or we might just see it look like what it is. I'll put some arrows on there. So again, exactly 1 point, that's where we get our tangent from. And let's say this is, let's call it point B. And now we're going to talk about what that point B is. So we'll draw another tangent line. So let's say our tangent line only intersected at that 1 point. That's a terrible one. I'm going to erase that. So we have our point that it crosses at, and we have our tangent line. Much better. Okay, so from here, we want to talk about this point B, right, where it crosses. That point B is called the point of tangency. And it's that one singular point where this tangent line crosses or intersects that outside rim of the circle, and that is our point of tangency. So again, these are just some different types of lines or intersections that have to deal with circles. Yesterday we talked about ones that were completely on the inside. Today we have a combination of ones that cross through, ones that just touch, or ones that are still on the inside. So let's kind of look at an example. We're going to try to see if we can determine which ones are which here. So first we're looking at DF. Okay, let's find DF. Let's use our highlighter. DF. Okay, so DF, it goes through our circle and it has 2 endpoints. So if we go back up here, it goes through our circle, has 2 endpoints on our circle. We look at it as being a chord. Okay, so let's go back down. So this is our chord, C-H-O-R-D. Okay, let's find our next one, D-E. D-E. All right, so let's see. It has endpoints on our circle and goes through it. So we could call it a chord. Is there can't really see that. Is there a better name for it, right? What particularly happens with this chord? It goes through the center, which tells us it's a diameter, right? And so that would be the better name for it, DE, because it's more specific. All right, let's see what's next. AE, AE, AE. Okay, it's a line. It doesn't have the arrows on the end, but we consider that it continues on forever. And one thing to notice here is that it touches in just that one place, right? It doesn't intersect at multiple. So a line that touches the outside circle at just one place is called a tangent line. All right, let's find E. So E is on that tangent line, and it's the point where it crosses, and that is our point of tangency, because that's where it crosses that once. All right, last one, we have GH. And so GH intersects twice, and it continues on through our circle, so it's different than DF over here. And so if DF is a chord because it stops, then HG continues on forever, is our secant line. So those are the new ones from today. I know diameter was a review from the previous one, but those are our most important pieces when we're talking about intersecting lines and lines within a circle.